The Wind Rises, 2013 film from Studio Ghibli, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. It's his final feature film as of this time. Currently, he is retired, although he has previously retired 5 times and then came back again as soon as an interesting project presented itself. This film is based on a manga written by Miyazaki himself and is probably the least magical out of all the Miyazaki movies. It follows the life of a character named Jiro Horikoshi, partly based on a real person, the designer and creator of the Zero fighter plane used by Japan in World War II. We begin with Jiro as a small boy dreaming of becoming a pilot one day. However, his short sightedness, actual physical short-sightedness, prevents him from chasing that dream. So instead he finds another, to become an engineer, a designer of planes. He gets his inspiration from an Italian engineer named Giovanni Caproni, who he continues to meet in his dreams as a sort of imaginary friend. While awake, though, he does continue to chase after those life plans. We see Jiro go through engineering school, get hired at a plane making company, even travel to Europe to continue learning more. So, the first thing that hit me the most was what I already said, how non-magical of a film it was. Miyazaki tends to put fantastical elements in pretty much all of his movies. There is that sense of escapism about them. Here, the only thing that comes close to that are the dreams with Caproni. Other than that, the movie is very grounded, realistic, and I dare say cold. On the one hand, it's a character study of this person that devotes his entire life to passion and to becoming the best at what he does, even if it eats away at his personal life. And I think this aspect resonated with Miyazaki on a personal level. He was famously a neglectful father, focusing on his career as an animator rather than family. The second big theme of the film is this philosophical conflict of chasing a dream that is important for you personally, but its realization will not just mean progress in the field, it will unfortunately mean that that progress and those achievements of yours will be used for malicious purposes, in this case, the war. Jiro would like his planes to be used for just flying people, to give a sense of wonder, to allow travel, to connect people. But he is also aware that the main contractor is the Japanese army, and the machines he designs with so much love will be used to bring destruction. And hell, not just destruction of the enemies, they will be sacrificed on the battlefield, along with their pilots. It's this unsolvable conundrum. Do you ignore the consequences and pursue your ambitions, or do you leave them aside for the greater good? I think there is a lesson coming in from the film, and its key strength of that lesson is that it's not directly spelled out, but rather left for the audience's consideration. It's phrased as this indirect question of, can we be better? Can we pursue progress for the sake of progress and not violence? However, as important as that message is, I think the film as a whole didn't really move me too much. I never got emotionally involved. I think it has to do partly with this story being ultimately rather unexciting, partly with the protagonist being not especially likable, and maybe also partly because of the film being so grounded that it is, because of the expectation that Hayao Miyazaki's films will transport us to a magical world, let us escape from the problems of real life. We'll have that flimsiness about them, whereas The Wind Rises instead tries to tackle these problems instead of running away from them. And I've read that Miyazaki himself has stated that this was his film that impacted himself the most emotionally. It was the only one that, while watching the premiere, he was crying. I didn't have that reaction. For me personally, the movie was too cold and too ordinary to evoke a stronger response. But maybe it's just me personally. Hell, maybe it's just the mood I was in while I was watching it. But my personal take is that the film is just not very special.